What happened to this guy? He used to be everywhere. Every time I turned on my computer, there he was.
Yes, lots and lots.
So today I'm talking to my colleague Mark Hinder, who runs Rico's business development services.
North Print and Pack is really the only exhibition this year of significant importance to the commercial printer.
Who'd have thought he'd just disappear off the map? And where did he go? It's episode 7 of Diary of a Castaway on Print Island.
Let me put it this way, I found my own island, that's for sure.
So Mark, why did you do, this is a reference for older people, do a Reggie Perrin? You may remember that series about a guy who just disappeared and then came back as somebody else.
Why I went off grid,
Yeah.
That me and you over the years, I used to be probably one of the most vocal person films, English TV more, and who I love and adore and stuff like that. Yeah. And various people, Brendan Perring and that over the years when he was, doing his pieces and stuff. Yeah, Print Monthly. Yeah. And I would always love the opportunity to be in front of a camera and try and promote because of the passion, the products or services that I was responsible for. Yeah. But now I have to balance that with the reality that what's my objective? And I'll be very open with you, Mark. This is the first one I've done because I've avoided it purely and simply because but we're doing this in a different context. Yeah. I don't need to promote let me put it this way, from a passion point of view, I don't need to promote the passionate element of me anymore.
I never thought I'd hear Mark dial back on the enthusiasm, but he actually talks about his passion for what he was doing and maybe went a bit over the top.
And when you're passionate, you try and argue your point to the extent where you become annoying. And that's really? The bit that really. And that's the bit then that I think you then have to change. And that's because your passion has to be tempered with practicality.
Yeah, it's true.
And the practicality now is, and this is something I again, you've got to think of, is, I'm lucky I have some business partners and people that help me and
I was going to say who brings the checks and balances and stops you going off the rails.
Well, exactly. And some of those I don't name drop because I protect the innocent as it were. But the thing is, some of these people are better in certain areas than I am, and when you make an approach, as long as you then say, okay, well, that area, that's not my forte. I'm be open with you, Mr. Customer. I don't do that, but I do have somebody I work with that covers that area, and then you do the introduction and you cover it off.
And what about how people treat you now? You're independent. Now you're not the spokesman for one of the brands you represented.
You talk to customers who then start to treat you very differently because you're completely independent.
Yes.
And you start to understand exactly how they think, and what their challenges are. And I think as a salesman, or in any corporate, when you knock on the door and they can smell a salesman 10 miles away, or should I say 10 kilometers away. Yeah. And instantly they've got an agenda and they've got a way of dealing with you. But when you're independent, the conversation changes.
And then, as usual, I ask for a bit of advice. What is the key thing that is worth remembering when you're setting up on your own or going into a new venture where everything's different?
The 2 bits of advice I can give to you. One is time is your biggest killer and enemy. Don't delay. Try and go with as much speed as you can. And the second thing is realize that the money that you've got, you then have to work out where you're going to spend it, what you're going to spend it on, which show are you going to go to. Yeah. And I had this conversation with a certain individual about the online print show that's just taken place down in Munich.
With Burnt Zipper, yeah.
With Burn. And, it's a lot of money to go. But there are other things that I've spent money to invest in because it supports what I do. Yeah. If you understand exactly what you want to do and where you want to go, avoid networking at events where you know you're going to see the lovely faces that you used to work with, but they are not the ones that are going to pay your invoices.
Exactly.
And what about looking back and thinking, okay, what would I have done differently? How would I have started out? Would I have gone down a different path?
And I thought, well, retirement looks promising. Probably could survive, probably do it. But then you
It would
realise
drive you crazy.
it did. It did. The bit that I would change is not taking so much time in coffee shops thinking, and just getting out there and getting on and doing it.
Just screw it, let's do it.
Well, there is that attitude but sometimes you can be too much. You can do too much strategic thinking. You can sit there and you can get your pad out and you can get your Excel spreadsheet out and you can do bits and pieces, and then you realise that actually now's the time to get out there.
Yeah.
And that's it. Go with a bit of speed, but know exactly what you want to offer and what you want to do.
So that's episode 7. Episode 8 is the series finale. And last night I spoke to Ray Stasiecko.
It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends.
And yeah, he's an interesting guy. And as usual, doesn't hold back. I have to put a parental guidance sticker on this one. So next week on Diary of a Castaway, only on Print Island.